Hey guys, welcome to today's video. This is going to be a quick version, and this is Paint with Lovejoy. Thanks so much for joining. Please subscribe to the channel and share this channel with your community. Like I said earlier, this is going to be a quick version, so if you prefer the full-length, non-time-lapsed version, check out my Patreon page and my Paint with Lovejoy website. If you want to further support Paint with Lovejoy, please do. It all helps. And for more in-depth courses, check out paintwithlovejoy.com. And as always, share this with your community.
All right, guys, this is going to be another fun painting for my Mandalorian fans. So grab your supplies, transfer your traceable to your surface, and as always, make sure you take your progress photos. Now, this is going to be the quick time-lapsed version. The original for this is a full narration, and it was one of the demos that I filmed during the COVID lockdown. So feel free to check out on my Patreon page or the live videos on my YouTube channel to find the full real-time narration. So here I was explaining a few things in the video, but we're going to be painting the background. So we're going to start with that purple, but you have full permission to change colors, make it your favorite color, do something different. But we're going to fill in that whole space. We're using that medium flat brush, or you can use a larger flat brush, and filling all the way up from the traceable lines to the edges of the canvas. Now I am using student grade paint, so I'm applying my paint a little bit thicker, and then we're going to do some wet on wet blending. And we're actually going to do that in all the sections today. So you're going to get really good um, comfort and practice with your brush pressure, with blending, and with kind of even controlling your brush strokes a little bit as we get into some smaller spaces and do the blending. Now, if you happen to be on a stretched canvas, I do recommend that you carry this color, this background color, around the edges. Looks nice when it wraps around the wall, wraps around the edge of the canvas when it's hanging on the wall. All right, and then we're still filling in that bottom area. And if you are one of my first time painters, take a moment right now. Are you holding your breath? If so, take a big inhale, release, big exhale. You're doing better than you may give yourself credit for right now. Just the fact that you're painting makes you already successful. The only way to fail at painting is to not paint at all. So I'm just adding a few more sections and almost kind of a second layer of purple on here. So with that student grade paint, you can apply it thicker or you can do 2 layers. And I decided to do 2 layers. And again, please do not paint as fast as the video. This is a time-lapsed version. And like I said earlier, the real-time narration is in one of the 2 places, and there'll be description links in the description box below. So here you can see we slap some of that white on there and then moving our brush on top of it. And do take note that the more you move your brush, the more that white paint is going to blend into the background and the more it diffuses and you lose that white. So if you want a bit of a higher contrast and you want more of that white to show through, slap it on there and only move your brush a few times. Then we're going to do the same thing with a little bit of black underneath his cloak. And it will be kind of hard to see because the purple's already pretty dark. So we're putting a little bit of black paint on the bottom. Then we're wiping off that brush. And then same thing, you're going to kind of blend that black paint into the purple. And this would be a good spot to pause the video and take your progress photo. We're going to move into the skin color, and that is going to be some yellow, and start off with a small amount of blue because this is a really, really bright kind of lime green um, skin tone color that we're going for Grogu, for our little Mandalorian. That was such a cute series. I hope you guys got to watch it. So once we've got our color there, and again, you are more than welcome to change the colors, we're going to fill in all of his face. And I did forget to do the hands at the beginning, so we will do those at a later state, but kind of recreate this process. Now on my traceable lines, for those of you that wanted to draw, pause the video and draw what you see, I did go over my traceable lines with a Sharpie marker, and that is kind of a benefit for this painting because the paint is transparent, so I can see through as I'm applying the skin tone color, and it will help when I do some of the blending. So if you feel like doing that with yours, if you're watching the video ahead of time before painting it, maybe consider that being an option, but it is not mandatory. All right, so just kind of filling in a couple of those areas, see where I've applied this color, where I've left some of the canvas, and then we're going to go in with some shading. We're going to get those hands in there. I thought I did those a little bit separately. Obviously, I was thinking better when I was doing the original. And if you have to mix your color a second or third time, don't stress about it the exact same shade. So here we're going to make kind of a light pink, and that is white with red. And then we're going to mix a little bit of that green in there. And again, go kind of slow, start off small. We don't really want to change too much of the color. We don't want to go crazy bright pink, but we're going for kind of an earthy greenish pink. And red and green are complementing colors, so it can go south very quickly when you are mixing complementing colors. So start off with small amounts of pigment as you're making kind of your earthy pink color. All right, and then adding a little bit more red just for a different little tone in there. Again, does not have to be perfect. You're just kind of using my video as a base guideline for what you're creating at home, but do trust your instincts um, as you are painting. So here we're in that small pointy brush. We've got some white paint. We're going to place this in a few specific areas. So again, I want you to observe where I place this. Then we're going to wipe that brush off, and with light pressure, we're going to kind of squish this white paint into the skin tone color, that limey green color. And we'll squish it. We'll do a little bit of blending. It's going to be similar to what you did in the background, um, but be a little bit more controlled with your brush strokes. And don't feel like you have to race. Again, don't keep up with the pace of this video. But you'll kind of find your groove as you smush this color and kind of make a new color as the two mix. And then we're going to do this on the opposite. We'll use some green for the shadow area. And if you've watched some of my other videos before, you will have known that I've talked a little bit about making a value scale. This is considered the highlight. The main skin tone color is the main color, and then we're going to put a shadow element with the green in a moment. And this is one of the ways that we create this 3D illusion on a flat 2D surface by focusing on three values: shadow, midtone, and highlight. So kind of doing the same thing on the hands, adding a little bit of white on there. I did have the other hand going off the page, so don't have to worry too much about that one. And then now we're going to grab some of the green, and it doesn't have to be the direct green. It can be a little bit of yellow and green, but you do want to go a little bit darker. There we go. So you can see I kind of did a little perimeter mixing to go a little bit darker. And again, you want to go a little more green, about 1 or 2 shades darker than what you did for the skin tone. And just like with the white, we're placing it in a few areas. Observe where I place it. Then you're going to wipe that brush off and then go back and kind of blend that into that base limey green color. And by following the video, you are strengthening your power of observation by noticing where I place it and then mimicking that on your canvas. And strengthening your power of observation is a core foundational art skill, just as the value scale, the dark, medium, and light shades. So every time that you paint, you're learning more things, some things make more sense. You're going to take today's lessons into your next painting and get better, and you'll take those lessons into the next painting and get better. So painting's not about being perfect, but just get more comfortable with your skills and your tools. So I did go back to that greenish pink, adding a little bit more red, a little bit darker. If yours is already dry, you can skip that step, or you can just apply it on top of your dried paint. All right, remember to breathe. You guys are doing great. I am proud of you. Grogu is proud of you as well. So another place to pause the video, take your progress photo. We're going to move into burnt sienna for his coat. We're going to do the same thing that we did in the background and on the skin. We're going to place that base color, then we're going to go in with the highlight, and then we're going to go in with the shadow, but doing the same thing with that wet on wet blending and just getting more comfortable with mixing paint. Great practice for my beginners and first time painters, and really anybody who is just painting this just to have fun. So same thing, kind of apply that paint a little bit thicker. Again, observe the places where I put it. I am leaving room for kind of the arm cuffs and the collar. That will be a light raw sienna. We'll do those in a few steps. All right. Doing good. So now we're going to grab our next kind of shadow color. We're going to grab black. And again, keep in mind a small amount of your dark pigment goes a long way. Observe the place where I put each of this color. We're going to wipe that brush off, and then we'll go back and kind of squish this into that burnt sienna color. And again, does not have to be perfect. It is kind of nice as we're getting rid of that white canvas space, um, just how it starts to take shape. So there I just wiped the brush off and then going back with that light pressure. And you can wipe your brush off a few times if you start getting a lot of buildup of paint on there. And even play with kind of holding the brush at a 45-degree angle compared to perpendicular. Or even use your fingers. Try different ways of just kind of blending the paint and find what's comfortable for you. And if you do the finger painting, just grab some extra napkins and don't touch the walls in your house. You have to clean those later. All right, so for that highlight value, we're going to be throwing some yellow in there. And just like the white in the background, this yellow is going to diffuse rather quickly in that burnt sienna. So you'll be a little bit less brush strokes for the mixing on this part. Again, the more that you do this, the more you're going to get comfortable with this process. I'm so proud of you for getting comfortable and painting today. All right, so coming up, good place to pause that video, take a progress photo. We're going to move into a light raw sienna, and that is going to be white plus raw sienna for the cuff, the arm cuffs, and the collar. And again, we're going to do the same thing, building on those skills. We're going to put the shadow element in there, blend it in, put a highlight element, blend it in, and then just a few more details, and that will bring us into the home stretch of today's painting. I have already received quite a few emails of people that have painted this from the demo and they turned out super cute. I love it. So please keep sending me your photos and keep getting creative, especially with your kids, especially with your friends. These are great memories that you guys are building together. So I love seeing families get creative together. All right, so here we're grabbing that white. Again, notice the placement of where I put it, and I am being rather generous with the amount of white paint. Then I wiped off that brush and that light pressure kind of pushing it into the raw sienna, that light raw sienna. Now we're grabbing the direct raw sienna, darker. Again, notice where I'm placing it, wipe that brush off, and then go back in and squish it into the base. All right, doing great. Excellent, you guys. So we're going to go one shade darker. We're going to grab a little bit of black, just a few places that we want to go a little bit darker. That little cuff right there, that would be pretty dark. Um, there we go. And again, you can wipe that off, place it in a few areas, wipe it off. We're going to redo the eyeliner and a few details on the face. And for the eye, if you happen to go over that white dot like I just did right there, don't stress about it. We're going to reapply that white dot. It's called the catch light, and we'll reapply it with white paint in a moment. Because right now he looks kind of zombie and creepy looking. So that white dot is rather important. So here we go. We're grabbing that pointy brush, white paint. You can let that black dry. And you're going to hold that brush. You're going to tap it to the canvas and then pull it right back and reference the video or even reference the traceable as to where that white dot was. Then we're going to add a few other little details in there, and anything else that you want to do to your painting to make it unique and special to you, please do that. Um, really proud of you guys for just kind of having fun and getting creative. So I'm going to go one shade a little bit darker. We're going to grab that raw sienna and a little bit of black. And I realized there was one more shadow element that I should have done when I did the shadow in the cuff. And that's just a little bit by the neck and the collar. If it doesn't bother you completely, you can skip this step. But that is the last step for today's painting. A few people that sent me photos did actually outline this like some of my other videos. So if you're one of doing the pop art style, feel free to kind of outline all of this and just reference that traceable. And it looked kind of cool. But again, anything you want to do to your painting, have at it. Please, please do not wait too long to do your next painting because you're going to take today's skills into that and just keep getting better. So thanks again for hanging out with me and spending some time and getting creative. And until next time, cheers.